Incinerate by unknown author. I just got Pokemon Black the other day. It's about time, too. I was tired of hearing all my friends talk about it and rubbing it in my face. I'm going to kick butt soon, after I train my Pokemon up a bit. I just got my second badge, too, which is fun. You know what else is awesome? Liberty Pass. Yep, it's about time on this thing, too. It took forever to figure out how to do the Wi-Fi on my DS, but I finally got it working. I don't recall much about the island where Victini is apparently dormant, but I do remember it being fairly weak, so I'll have to be careful. I think I can handle it, though. After eating dinner, I quickly ran upstairs to catch my Victini. I booted up my DS, then quickly skipped past the title screen so I could hurry to Liberty Pier. The sailor in front of the dock and greeted me, then allowed me to get on board. As the boat drifted off the screen, my heart began pounding in anticipation. I was finally going to catch Victini. Until I saw all of the Team Plasma members on the island, I groaned, knowing I would have to face every single one of these losers before I could catch my Victini. Well, it would be worth pummeling them, I guess. Plus, I could get some experience with my team from them. I brushed them off quickly, not even having to use any other Pokemon besides my Duat. His health did get pretty low, though, so I would be prepared for Victini to be throwing punches at... For Victini to be throwing hits at him. I had to bet on one more Team Plasma member, and then I saw a little Pokemon that would soon be mine. It wants to test your strength, the Team Plasma member commented. Well, it was going to get a battle anyway. I walked up to Victini and a battle commenced. I smiled widely as Victini's sprite appeared, letting out a chirrup as its battle animation played. It wasn't as weak as I thought it would be, but it was still a pretty low level, 15, so I would have to be extra careful. Duat was too strong, being a level 28, so I sent out my level 20 Herdier. From the swapping, Victini got the first hit. Victini used Incinerate, the game text said, and suddenly my Herdier was engulfed in flames, which did a whopping amount of damage too, to my surprise. Luckily, it had been holding an Oranberry, so it had healed a bit. I had my Herdier use Takedown, which lowered Victini's health to a dangerous level. Soon you'll be mine, I said aloud, grinning as I swapped Herdier out for my Duat. Then I began to throw Great Balls at it. It took forever. Duat's health was lowering, albeit slowly. When I reached my last Great Ball, I clutched my DSi tightly as my trainer threw it. It shook. Once, twice, 3 times. Click! Yes! I cried, almost throwing my DSi across the room in sheer happiness as the victory music played. I smiled happily at the screen, clicking yes when the option to name came up. I typed Timothy. Timothy. Little tiny Tim. After leaving, a sailor, I think, came and talked to my trainer. He told me that apparently a long time ago, some people had tried to capture and steal Victini, but some guy wouldn't allow it for its safety. He felt it would be best to isolate Victini and seal it away. Well, it will be safe now. It'll be strong traveling with me. Upon leaving the island, I suddenly heard Timothy's cry play in an agitated manner, and a text box appeared at the bottom of the screen. Timothy doesn't like his Pokeball, it read. That was weird. Maybe it was some special thing that came with the event. Well, whatever it was, Timothy's sprite was suddenly behind my trainer, and with a happy-sounding chirrup, now followed me around. I didn't really mind, though. I headed back to Route 3 to train a little. I was almost obsessed with the fact that Timothy was following me around, and whenever I turned around to talk to him, he chirruped happily and hopped a few times, a message always appearing that said stuff along the lines of, "Timothy loves Keora." That gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. After a while, I looked at the clock on my nightstand and almost flipped when it said 12:39. Holy crap, had I been playing that long? I moved to save my game, but then stopped suddenly. What would I do about Timothy? He couldn't just stay that way, could he? And I couldn't just put him back in his Pokeball, since he doesn't like it. Then I remembered the daycare center just above the current town I was in, and I headed off. I entered the building and talked to the old woman. I was given the options to either leave a Pokemon or take one back, so I chose to leave Timothy here. He would be okay until I could play again, I figured. And then Timothy's cry suddenly played out of nowhere, sounding distinctly sad, and I felt bad for it, even more so when a text appeared on the bottom of the screen. "Timothy doesn't want to leave you," it read. Then tugged at my heartstrings. But I didn't want to leave it waiting for me with the game off. At least it could play with some other Pokemon while I was gone. "I'm sorry, baby. It's just a little while," I whispered to my DSI, despite knowing it was stupid to do. So, it was just a game. He let out some cry in response, although it was more whiny this time. But let the daycare lady take him back there nonetheless. I smiled, glad that he understood. When I exited the building to save outside, Timothy was on the other side of the fence, watching me closely. He let out a cry, as if trying to call me over, but I seriously needed to get some sleep. I saved the game and turned it off. I slept in the next day, waking up at about 12 in the afternoon, feeling pretty refreshed. I booted up my Pokemon Black, then clicked continue when I reached the screen. I smiled, ready to play my game again. And then I almost screamed at what I saw. The daycare center was gone, completely. In its place was a pile of still smoldering ashes. Disbelief left little room in me for fear of what had caused this. But I couldn't help but stare at the pile. Then I noticed the daycare man was standing a little bit away. I walked up and talked to him. "The daycare has been incinerated," he told me as the text appeared at the bottom of the screen. "All of the Pokemon are gone." That right there made fear jolt through me. I don't know what caused this, but where was Timothy? I suddenly heard a happy cheer up and saw my little Victini suddenly skipping over to me. I felt relief go through me, and I sighed a little. Timothy took his place behind me.
I was talking about that, let me know there was no school. I woke up and thought that I barely overslept.
Sorry, Dad.
Okay.
Sorry, that was my dad. Timothy took his place behind me as we walked away from the remains of the building, and then I noticed how jitty he seemed to be. I turned around and talked to him, and his chirrup came out like an amused giggle almost. Timothy got away from the bad people, the game said. That disturbed me a bit. What bad people? He couldn't have meant the daycare people. They were so nice. I talked to him again, hoping maybe to get the answer to why he felt so accomplished of this. "Timothy will never leave you again." That sent a chill down my spine, and suddenly my mind flashed back to what the game said last night. Timothy doesn't want to leave you. No, No, it couldn't be. I'm just being paranoid. Sweet little Timothy would never do something like that. I tried to forget it and just continue my game. Maybe I could train him a little. Timothy still had a few levels to go before he would be up to par with the rest of my team. I decided I would level grind on some of the Pokemon around here, so I walked back up the route, ignoring the cinders of the daycare center as I passed it, and then headed off to a patch of grass. Immediately, a battle started. I grinned determinedly, ready to train my little guy until he could take on anything. Wild Lillipup appeared, the game said. Level 8 apparently, as it said beneath the health bar. Piece of cake, I thought to myself as I threw out Timothy. Oddly, the Lillipup seemed to shrink back a bit when I threw at Timothy, but I didn't pay it much mind. I clicked fight out of the 4 options available and chose the move Incinerate. Timothy suddenly chirruped happily, and the text said, "Timothy will make you proud." Then the animation for the move Incinerate played, fire suddenly engulfing the wild Lillipup. I covered my ears as its agonizing cry rang out from the speakers. I blinked, keeping my eyes closed for longer than I should have, and looked back at the screen. There was no more Lillipup. Instead, in its place, a pile of ashes remained. Wild Lillipup was incinerated. The text at the bottom of the screen read. I shuddered in horror at that. What had Timothy just done? I couldn't erase that sound of Lillipup's dying cries from my mind. As the battle screen faded, I jumped when I heard Timothy's chirp. Timothy wants to know if he did a good job, yes or no, the game said. I hesitantly tapped yes with my stylus, afraid of what might happen if I said no. Timothy chirruped again, sounding like a giggle. Timothy wants to make you happy. I shuddered, attempting to step out of the grass, but I was launched into another battle. Wild Pidove appeared, the game said. I winced, attempting to have him use confusion instead. It wouldn't work, though. Timothy wants your enemy to burn. And without even giving me the option, Timothy suddenly used Incinerate on the wild Pokemon, burning it instantly into a pile of ashes. After the battle, I was asked once more if Timothy did a good job. I hesitantly tapped yes once more, still afraid of what he would do. This continued a few more times, Timothy still refusing to use any attack but Incinerate, always giving me the message, Timothy wants your enemy to burn, before suddenly burning the wild Pokemon to ashes. They aren't my enemies, I suddenly cried out to the screen, unable to stop myself. They're innocent Pokemon. Leave them alone. Why are you doing this? I was breathing heavily and felt my anger rise when the text box appeared at the bottom of the screen that apparently was coming directly from Timothy himself. You aren't happy with me? He asked, and I was given a yes or no option. I can't tell you how quickly I hit no. But I did it all for you. To make you happy. His overworld sprite seemed to twitch as he continued talking. You left me with those people. You were going to leave me, weren't you? I love you. I want to be with you always. I'll never let you leave. Then our battle started, with Timothy on the opposing side. I was struck with such horror, partly because of the fact that I didn't want to fight my baby, but mostly because I knew what he could do, and probably would, do to my Pokemon. Then I remembered my Duat, knowing he would have a type advantage to Timothy. But when my trainer raised her Pokeball, Timothy's mouth suddenly curled into a cruel smirk. I won't give you a chance. Suddenly my Pokeball burst into flames, and my trainer dropped it in horror, Timothy chirruping happily, mingling with the agonizing cries of my Duat. Aren't the embers pretty? Timothy asked me, even though I really had no way to reply. Each one of my Pokemon were burnt to a crisp inside their Pokeball, me having no way to stop it. Then my trainer appeared on screen. I was given the same options of a Pokemon, but right no intention of fighting him. I clicked run. The screen faded to black, and as soon as I could, I made the trainer build it. You cannot escape, a text appeared. I didn't know if it was the game or Timothy himself stating the obvious, but I was going to try anyway. Timothy caught up quickly, though, jumping onto my trainer. From the looks of it, and from what the scene was now showing, he had her pinned. His normal cute face was curled into a smirk that was completely horrifying to look at. You're mine, he stated. I won't let you leave. I was suddenly given a yes or no option, and not to choose. I chose no. In bold letters at the bottom of the screen, the text box slowly spelled out, too bad. Timothy used Incinerate. Final thoughts. Well, it was a good story, but a lot of spelling mistakes and a lot of bad word choices. I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm just like giving my honest opinion of what I thought. And maybe this could help them fix the story. I don't know. But yeah, besides the spelling and the word choices, it was a pretty good story. It didn't have any. I didn't think it had many cliches. For instance, one of the cliches that is used in a few Pokemon stories I've read is stuff happening in real life after playing the stupid game and all that crap. But not in this game. But I gotta say the part where Timothy himself was talking directly to the main character, that was kind of cliche. So, yeah. So guys, yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.